Okay, hello everyone. How is everyone doing? I hope you're doing fine. I'm doing pretty good. If I sound a little bit winded, it's because I just ran 4 miles in an hour, or sort of. Anyway, I'm feeling pretty good, and I have this little discussion that I would like to make or have. Because I'm often questioned by people that don't want to identify themselves. They could be anybody, you know, who knows who they are. But they don't wish to identify themselves, and of course, they start out thinking that I don't have a chance in the world to make an argument, and then they end up, well, kind of not figuring it out and kind of scratching their heads a little bit. So this is the way I just wanted to show what a typical discussion goes like. So I'm going to highlight an individual. Of course, I've highlighted other people a lot, all the different soccer accounts. This time I just want to go through this little one because it's such a common thing. And chances are, no, this channel doesn't have any content. Oh, here, before I go too far, got a screen share before I make myself look bad. Okay, so yeah, let me go ahead and put it here for the fun of it. And here we go. This might not be his real name, whoever this Bob guy. But channel doesn't have any content, no subscribers, no content. I mean, this is the classic soccer account, right? A lot of them would like put some content or have a couple subscribers and a little bit of content or something, or at least looked at something, either, favorites or something. Anyway, without wasting too much time, I don't like to waste too much time talking little talk, because that's my personality, I found out. So here we go. There's a discussion here. Rob Rabbins. There was another guy, this Aaron Kelt. I guess he's another soccer account too. Let me see. Let me open it up. See what he's got. Oh, another one. Oh, he's got 2 subscribers. No content, 2 subscribers. Because he's been around. I've seen him around before. Anyway, so let's go back to this other guy. I'm not going to highlight this Aaron guy because I don't know, it's typical too, but just for the sake of time, I'm just going to go through what Bob says. Okay, I said evolution is not rational, nor is it scientific, which is a fact. So he comes back and says, LOL. So how do you think life evolved here on Earth in jungle? Some god? That's not rational. See, he thinks he's got a strong point, right? So here's a typical response. Of course, I don't always answer the way they want me to answer or whatever. So I just kind of like give them a little bit in case, just to see if they're interested too. Because sometimes they just make a comment and they never come back, never respond. So just to see if he's interested, I say, explain in your own words why you believe that unrelated mistakes write vast amounts of programming that is not there. Your appeal to what other people said is worthless. Sounds good to me. Oh, that was to Aaron. So I said to Bob here, the evidence is of written instruction that no physical thing can ever concatenate. That's a programming word for program. So no physical thing can ever write programming. That was my response to him. He said, then how do you know? Well, how do I know no physical thing ever concatenates? It's not observed. And if you think it's observed, you have to prove it. It's your belief, you have to prove it. So here we go. Well, let me see. I don't know if I'll read Aaron's response here. Yeah, Aaron's got a whole big response here. I don't think I'll go through this. So let me go back to Bob. And I said, okay, what did I say? Oh, I say it's observed to Bob. Wait a minute. Oh, how do you know? I say it's observed. Yeah, how do I know what? That no physical thing can write instruction is not there. I say it's observed. Well, it's observed that no physical thing ever writes anything. That's what's observed. And of course, if you believe otherwise, you have to prove it because it's your belief. You got to prove it. So let me go. This is my response to Aaron. Let me skip that. So Bob Robbins says, are you talking about DNA? How do you link, notice here this word, how do you link your God with DNA and then prove that? So I turn around and says, well, how do you credit matter or energy? Or how do you link it to matter and energy? So then he acts like he doesn't know what I'm talking about. He says, I think you mean create, but I got that. Let's cut out the core of what you're saying, Jungle. How did everything first begin? That's what you want to say, right? I don't know. Humans don't know. You don't know. No, I'm sure you have a claim that you do know, and it's your God. Can you prove that? I said, no, I mean credit. So when I said initially credit, I meant credit. So he thinks it's all the same thing, you know. So he says, comes back and says, then I don't understand what you mean. I said, are you trying not to understand? And then he says, come on, Jungle, let's get real here. You said, how do you credit matter and energy? That doesn't make sense, doesn't make any sense, and I have no idea what you're trying to say. Clarify what you are saying, please. As if it's not clear enough. Okay. So I have to take a nap. How is it that you give the glory to energy and or matter? That's giving the credit, giving the glory, giving the credit, same thing. So he says, give the glory. You see, I was right in the beginning when I said about how everything first started. So I'm talking about who gets the credit, and he's talking about the first cause. Was what you were talking about. Okay, the universe is not sentient. Who's talking about the universe being sentient? It does not owe you anything. Who's talking about that? Nor does it even know you exist, nor does it care. And I never said anything like that. It doesn't think, it just is. Can you prove that your God created everything, thus the glory goes to him? Oh, now he's switching it. First he's talking about the universe, and now he's talking about the glory going to God. You know, that's a bait and switch right there. Because I never said this. Anyways, you know, skip it. He's not, doesn't even know where he's talking about or where he's coming from anyways. You can assert it all day long, but that does not make it true. Okay, he's talking about God. Can you prove your God created everything, thus the glory to him? You can assert it all day long, it doesn't make it true. You can quote Bible verses all day long, but it doesn't make it true. Well, he doesn't know what Bible verses are, but that's another thing. Have a good nap. So, and I come back after, what is 15 hours? Oh, that was about 6 hours later, basically, I think. If I remember right. Okay, I think you might have missed what I said. You cannot say that matter and energy is the reason for matter and energy. In other words, he's thinking physical things and switching it to a God, trying to relate a God to physical things. That's what I was saying before. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. And I'm saying that matter can't cause itself. Okay, so where'd he go? So he comes back. I went back and read what I wrote. I never said that. Can you cut to the chase? Stop beating around the bush. Just ask what you want to ask and stop trying to be vague about it. Okay, yeah. If you are asking about how everything, time, space, and matter first came into being, I've already said I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. Humans do not know. I'm giving an honest answer. You seem to be saying that a God did it. Say it all day long. It doesn't matter. What matters is, can you prove it? Just because humans don't have an answer for something doesn't mean you can insert a God as the answer. That's what they call a God of the gaps, which is not. We don't believe in the God of the gaps. They believe in magical matter of the gaps. How do humans even know what was going on at that time? How do humans even know all the possibilities of what the answer might be? Well, God says, the Bible says you can know all things. So I'm just going to say that right here and now. Perhaps the answer, if there is one, is so far beyond us that we will never know it. Okay, I just straightened that out. Don't assert things as true without proving it. Okay, I'll have to prove it then. Okay. So here I go. I separate time and space from matter. Okay, time and space is the result of matter because it's the gravity of matter that dilates time and space. And matter is made of energy. So, see, it's really not complicated. You just have to have a good teacher, basically, and you can know just about anything and everything. I do know that matter and energy cannot make themselves. See, according to the laws of thermodynamics, energy can't make itself or order itself. Of course, they like to say it differently, but it's basically the same thing. There's energy cannot be ordered, and energy cannot make itself and order itself. Anyway, it's basically the same thing. I just put it in different lights so people can understand. I do know that matter and energy cannot make themselves. Since matter is the result of energy, you have to ask yourself, okay, so you have to say, self, where did energy come from? Then you have to answer because you're not getting it, because you're just not getting it. Energy came from a greater energy. Okay, so that's pretty simple, right? Energy can't cause itself. It's not made. You can't make energy. Energy only dissipates. But you can't make energy. Because the energy is always from a greater source of energy, right? All of our energy comes from a greater source of energy. All the energy that we use and that we observe comes from a greater source of energy, always. Because it can't make itself, it can't order itself. When we see ordered energy, first we say energy, then we see ordered energy, and it comes from a greater energy. It has to come from a greater energy because it can't just make itself exist. And it can't order itself, whichever way you want to state it. So, see if he's still not understanding. So you have decided that it is how everything started with your greater energy, who conveniently for you will not be subject to the same. Now, can you prove that? How can you claim to even know all possibilities? I've already given my position, and now you have to. I've given my position, now you have to. Which I just did. I already gave him the position. Energy comes from a greater energy. So I just repeated it. I says, I gave you the position. It is a greater energy. Energy comes from a greater energy. And if you ask where that energy came from, it came from a greater energy. You want to play dumb? Ask me again. Where did that energy come from? Oh, it came from a greater energy. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, what is this evidence for? This is evidence of an infinite potential. Any amount of energy is not the result of itself. Any amount of energy is the result of a greater amount of energy. Energy itself is the evidence of an infinite, all powerful God. Of course, then you have intelligence to make us. You think it's a lesser intelligence that made us? No, it's a greater intelligence. Well, who made that intelligence? It's a greater intelligence. You want to play dumb? Who made that intelligence? Oh, greater intelligence. Then you have to come to the definition of the biblical God, which is infinite power, infinite knowledge, infinite potential, and always existing. The goat herders knew more than what these people know. And at this point, I just get annoyed with these people. Send me a real scientist. Don't send your students.